How long would it take to go crazy? Let's begin by looking at the case of Michel Siffre, a French underground explorer, adventurer, and scientist. On Valentine's Day in 1972, Siffre kissed his wife goodbye and descended 100 feet into the Midnight Cave in Texas. He did not emerge for 6 months. He didn't go crazy, but things did get pretty strange. Siffre lived in a nylon tent surrounded by scientific equipment. He took a few creature comforts, including a freezer, furniture, books, and a music player. NASA supplied all of his food so they could monitor the experiment as part of their research for long-haul space missions. So how did Siffre fare? Well, the lack of sensory and social stimulation led to a gradual deterioration in his mental well-being, and at one point he even thought about suicide. By day 77, his memory was so bad that he forgot things unless he wrote them down immediately. Siffre survived the ordeal. He did not lose his mind, but even 3 years after leaving the cave, he continued to have issues with his memory and eyesight. Years later, in 2008, the BBC conducted a similar experiment with a shorter time frame and more extreme conditions. They wanted to try and answer a simple question: can any human endure total sensory deprivation without losing their sanity? A group of 6 volunteers were put into a total isolation chamber, hidden in a former nuclear bunker. No light, no sound, no sensory interaction for 48 hours. One of the volunteers was comedian Adam Bloom. Bloom explained his experience as the hours went by. He started out by talking, singing, and making jokes out loud until he was bored. Next, he stared off into space for some time, and his mind filled with thoughts of his life outside. This led him to worry about his fiancée and family. He fell asleep after a few hours, but when he woke up, he had totally lost track of time. In pitch black and with nothing to reference for the time of day, he found it impossible to regain his body clock. After 18 hours, things took a turn for the worse, and comedian Bloom started experiencing paranoia. He was singing and then crying, his emotions running out of control. At the halfway mark, 24 hours, Bloom's brain power was really flagging. He felt it was impossible to stimulate his mind. At 30 hours, he started pacing his room endlessly to keep himself occupied. Finally, after 40 hours, with only 8 hours to go, Bloom began to hallucinate, seeing a pile of 500 oyster shells. He described seeing the pearly sheen on the shells as clear as day, and he felt like the room was taking off from beneath him. He realized that the lack of stimulation was driving him close to insanity. Bloom survived the final 8 hours and lived to tell the tale. But we can see from this experiment that taking away all of a person's sensory input and locking them away on their own for even a short period of time can begin to drive them crazy. When you think of isolation, something that also springs to mind is life inside a prison. So we decided to look at some of the cases that involve prisoners being kept in solitary confinement. Kenny Zulu Whitmore spent 36 consecutive years in solitary confinement in Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola. During his time there, Whitmore was deprived of virtually all human contact and spent 23 hours a day living in a 6-foot by 9-foot cell. After he was eventually released back into the general prison population, Whitmore was suffering from what he described as a constellation of muscle atrophy, cardiovascular hypertension, and deteriorating vision caused by a lack of light and visual stimulation in his stifling cell. 36 years in solitary. Now that's a long time, but it's actually not the record. With a little more digging, we discovered the story of Albert Woodfox. Woodfox was released from jail after a staggering 43 years in isolation. Like Whitmore, Woodfox spent 23 hours of his day living alone in his small cell. In 2014, he relayed his experiences to a blogger. Woodfox described what it was like to be locked in the cell for so many years. He said he feared he might start screaming and not be able to stop. He also felt he might turn into a baby, curl up in a fetal position, and lay there day after day for the rest of his life. Or that he might cut off his balls, throw them through the bars the way he had seen others do when they couldn't take it anymore. Albert Woodfox's comments certainly sound like those of a man who was flirting with insanity. But he survived. His attorney said Woodfox made it through the ordeal because of his extraordinary strength and character. So we've looked at isolation experiments and the effects on the mind. And we've seen how years in a jail cell can push a person to the edge. What other extreme examples of isolation are there? Well, not everyone is forced into isolation. In fact, in some spiritual traditions, practitioners chose to retreat to the forest or into caves for years at a time. One such person is Tenzin Palmo, who at the age of 21 swapped her job as a London librarian for life as a nun in a monastery in India. But even that was not isolated enough for Palmo, and after a few years there, she moved from the monastery and started living in a cave in the Himalayas. The cave measured 10 feet wide and 6 feet deep, and Palmo stayed there for 12 years. 3 of those years she spent meditating, never laying down, sleeping seated in a traditional wooden meditation box for only 3 hours a night. The idea of spending more than a decade in a cave is certainly a crazy one, but this nun re-emerged years later to teach others in the monastery. Did she hold on to her sanity? Was she enlightened? We may never know. So today we've seen there are many examples of people being in isolation for long periods. How long it takes to drive you crazy depends on the individual and the conditions of their isolation. But even in the extreme cases we looked at, when people do lose their grip on reality, they also tend to recover. So, how do you think you'd react to being in isolation? Let us know in the comments. Also be sure to check out our other video called What Would Happen to Your Body If You Lived in the Bathtub. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time! This episode is brought to you by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up using the link in the description will get their first 2 months free.
Sorry if you're watching this, I was drinking water.
In 1962, 32-year-old Croatian Frane Selak was minding his own business when suddenly his train derailed. Disconnected from the rest of the train, his train car plunged down a narrow canyon and into an icy river. Desperately fighting to escape the sinking train car, Selak made his way to the shore before being pulled to safety by a bystander. While 17 other people drowned in that tragic accident, Selak suffered nothing more than a broken arm and hypothermia. Yet this was the day life would take a strange turn for Selak, throwing the mild-mannered music teacher into a curious roller coaster of fate. Welcome to this episode of the Infographic Show, Frane Selak, the luckiest, unlucky man in the world. Prior to his train accident, Frane Selak led a quiet and unassuming life as a local music teacher. It seems, though, that life, or more accurately, death, had plans for Selak. Miraculously escaping death in his train accident, Selak counted his lucky stars and continued about his life, chalking up the incident to a stroke of bad luck. But 1 year later, Selak's mother fell ill. Gravely concerned, Selak, who had always been too nervous to fly, immediately booked a plane ticket from Zagreb to Rijeka. The earliest flight being fully booked, Selak managed to persuade a sympathetic airline employee to let him ride in the rear of the aircraft along with the single flight attendant. Nervous, Selak took to the skies without incident, chatting up the friendly flight attendant and sharing tea to take his mind off his nerves. Minutes before landing, though, the rear door to the aircraft suddenly blew open, the pressure difference between the interior and exterior of the plane sucking Selak and the flight attendant clear out of the airplane. Plunging to a certain death, Selak miraculously survived by landing in a haystack, suffering nothing more than minor injuries. Unfortunately, there were no other survivors of the terrible accident. 2 brushes with death are enough for a single lifetime, but fate wasn't done with Selak. 4 years later, Selak was commuting on a local bus when the bus suddenly skidded into a river. Once more plunged into icy waters, Selak managed to swim free of the sinking vehicle and make his way to safety, suffering nothing more than cuts and bruises. 4 other riders were not so lucky and lost their lives. Perhaps, and very understandably, deterred from public transportation, Selak purchased a car of his own. In 1970, while driving, his vehicle burst into flames and exploded. Diving for safety, Selak managed to escape the burning wreck, once more suffering nothing more than minor wounds. What should have been a freak accident repeated itself 3 years later, with yet another of Selak's vehicles exploding after spontaneously catching fire. Diving for safety once more, Selak escaped this time with minor burns. Perhaps giving him a chance to catch his breath, life gave Frane Selak 22 years of relative peace, until a bus hit him while walking on a street in Zagreb in 1995. Surviving once more with relatively few injuries, Selak was then forced off a mountain road a year later. Driving in the Croatian mountains, an oncoming UN truck barreling down a narrow road forced Selak to swerve, sending his car plunging off the mountain ledge and into a ravine. Jumping out at the last second, Selak managed to grab onto the branches of a tree and hoist himself to safety as his car smashed into the ground below. That would be the last time death made an attempt on Selak's life, at least to date. As if to make up for his incredible streak of bad luck, Selak caught a break in 2003 when he won $1 million lottery. Interviewed by several international publications, Selak said that you could look at it 2 ways. I was either the unluckiest man in the world or the luckiest. I prefer to believe the latter. Lucky or not, Selak's reputation for tragedy had made it difficult to keep friends. People around him were hesitant to get into vehicles with him or be in his general proximity, and who could blame them? Reflecting on his life, Selak told reporters, "There came a stage when I was lucky to have friends at all. Many stopped seeing me, saying I was bad karma." A number of Selak's friends also commented, "Put it like this, if I heard Frayne had booked a flight or train, I would cancel." Selak's long streak of bad luck seems to be over, but with so much international attention falling on the man, doubt about some of his claims have begun to spring up. Many doubters point to a lack of official records documenting any fatal plane or train crashes in 1962 or 1963, and in an interview with the BBC, either Selak misstated his original story or a reporter miswrote it, giving the first year of his accident as 1957 and not 1962, and saying it took place on a bus instead of a train. Inconsistencies have also popped up in Selak's own telling of his stories, with Selak claiming in 2003 that he'd been playing the lottery consistently for years before finally winning, but when re-interviewed in 2010, he claimed he'd won the jackpot on his very first time playing. Details tend to become murkier the longer a story is retold, and with Selak now in his late 80s, it's understandable if there are some inconsistencies. The nature of Selak's incredible escapes from death also makes them fodder for skeptics, yet Selak and those close to him stick by each story, and real or not, Selak has had to bear the stigma of being incredibly unlucky from friends and family alike. If real though, Selak is truly the unluckiest man in the world, and it's nice to see that life finally granted him a consolation prize for trying to kill him, even if it took 70 years. What are the odds a man could live a life of such good and bad luck? Well, if math interests you, why not take one of the many mathematics courses available on Skillshare and calculate those odds yourself? With This episode is brought to you by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up using the link in the description will get their first 2 months free. They say war proves mankind doesn't need to invent monsters, as the monsters were inside us all along. Yet sometimes, soldiers report sightings of what can only be described as actual monsters, or in other cases, otherworldly beings. Are these battlefield stresses, or are men whose lives literally depend on remaining alert and aware, seeing things that the rest of us might miss? Do mythological beasts stalk our battlefields? Do curious aliens observe from a distance, making notes on our primal, savage nature? That's what we'll try and figure out today, in this special episode of the infographic show's greatest mysteries, famous wartime paranormal sightings. The first paranormal event on our list comes from World War I and has become a staple of sea monster stories. At the outbreak of the war, the British steamer Iberian was cruising just off the coast of Ireland when it was attacked and sunk by the German submarine U-28. As the U-28's captain, Baron von Forstner, and 7 other crew members watched the ship sink from the sub's conning tower, there was a sudden, large underwater explosion, likely from the ship's boiler detonating. The blast flung debris and men clear out of the water, but as the captain and his men watched incredulously, an animal about 65 feet long was flung into the air as well by the force of the explosion. Described as crocodile-like in shape, with pairs of strong front and hind legs adapted for swimming, and a long head that tapered towards the nose, the monster was visible for about 10 to 15 seconds as it was blown out of the water before sinking back into the depths. Skeptics suggest that the story was fabricated by Baron von Forstner, and sadly 6 of the alleged eyewitnesses were all killed during the war. Only the ship's cook survived the war, though he would refuse to comment on the story. The 61 survivors of the Iberian also made no mention of the creature, though with their ship sinking and then exploding in the waves beneath them, they were probably a little busy with the matter of survival at the time of the brief sighting. Outright fabrication by a baron and naval officer, or confirmed sighting of a surviving ancient seafaring sauropod? We might never know, but the resemblance to other sea monsters around the world is uncanny. Our next
Christmas Eve, 1914.
Paranormal sighting comes from the jungles of Africa.
What would happen if we detonated humanity's most powerful nuclear weapon at the deepest point of the ocean? for sure. Tsunamis hundreds of meters high would destroy coastal cities, earthquakes would level countries, new volcanoes would bring us nuclear winter.
Horseshit gang is amateurs. For real, like from a real artist perspective, they are fucking amateur. They have no idea what they're doing. They just rap fast and think it's so.
You're now about to feel the wrath of Hobbs and Dizzy writing written. Your careers was in it the moment that I was mentioned. This rap shit is my religion. Sorry, crooked, I've been sitting horse shit.
What, hi?
Wasn't a wise decision. It's a setback for sure. Not only am they weak careers, but it's a setback of yours. So step back and endure the rain, the suffering, pain. You wanted problems, here's a death match, it's war. Fuck horseshit gang, they straight lame, all four suck. I put 500K on this battle. You put yours.
Let's go to Lazy.
After this shit is finished, niggas better reward us. My girl's gram has more likes than yours does. How does it feel to have never been on the tour bus? It's probably similar to alcohol on a sore cut. You niggas suck. In other words, niggas, you're fuck. You really thought we wouldn't stop you, please? Fuck you mean? We'll puncture you and watch you bleed. See, I patrol the game daily like the cops do streets. I'm too beast, niggas, we will rock you, queen. For real, it's like your buzz is invisible thing. You don't even have residuals gained from your predictable lane. Your song sucks, so you ain't getting no fame. Nobody even knows you niggas individual names. Some horse shit, I turn you horseshoe niggas to corpses. $4 in the snack, I bet they blow a horse back. I ain't wanna murk them, but fuck it, you niggas push me. I let you fuck my wife, but I'm sorry she don't like pussy. I'm in the corners, let you broke niggas ride along a bunch of fucking gangsters, but they can't afford a fire. I know you need one, take a moment to breathe. I bet they do the drive by on the bike with a slingshot. Yo, face, they looking like you need bathing. Call me cause my grandmama got room in the basement. You can never shit on me, you should lean your bitch to me. We stock you up with canned goods and give you free publicity. I'm 500K, but we doing this one for charity. Stacking bread like for Sarah Lee, you should be very scared of me. Fire Marshal Bill, you faggots can get extinguished. I'm swing looking like some broke R&B singers. What you? Money, body, Ricky and Mike. Must be smoking the heart and sniffing that white. See this rap
Can I have 'em?
ain't working, you niggas should get a fucking job.
Young, can I have him?
Seriously, niggas get a fucking job. Hop this bad for any man that can't afford a meal. Tell Mike Trappy to learn how to count a $500,000.
What about that $500,000 though?
Oh, listen, man, I'm already working on it. I got about 225 right now, so we can come up with the other 225.
Can I get one?
He was in the horse shit, come back down to earth. Ain't your niggas in your 40s.
Young, can I get a big pot?
Hey, your bitch said she tired of hearing them lame rap dreams. Pay a bill, nigga, shit is not happening. Damn, homie. High school, you
Whatever.
was the man, homie. Fuck happened to you. Bitches back in the booth and I'm spitting it for the homeless. Serial killer, I'm all my opponents. Let me break it down, don't think y'all niggas gon' make it. You got a better chance at getting hit by a spaceship. But I'm a brainstorm, dear Lord, please bless the bum niggas. I know they starving, please help them out with a lunch when you drop them on linoleum. Gas them like petroleum, get murked by me, dancing that nigga from Nickelodeon. James that he hiring, we need some custodians. I bet your label fuck you in the ass with no petroleum. Mr. Bitten, I'll abort you lames. Get somebody special change for the horseshoe gang, bitch. Look, man, I ain't wanna do it to y'all niggas, man. I like y'all niggas, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, get in that. I want to see something. Wait. Start driving.
Motown Philly, suit wearing ass nigga, oh goddamn boys and men looking nigga. MC Brain, goddamn tied shirt wearing ass nigga, oh goddamn R&B singer.
Do you have any-
Fuckers. Man, hey, man, fuck this shit. Dizzy. You niggas done fucked up. I'm like this Dizzy OG, I'm let my little nigga get you, man. Career move.
Jump off of a hill or something.
So you the fuck niggas that won it first. My stomach hurts, so somebody finna get shitted on. My vision long and I could've seen this from a mile away. You niggas is ending your careers, we coming about the gate. Now you can't escape the nerve of this man. I'm Mel Chapo sending these Donald Trumps, they surgery plans. Emergency land, you can tell we the current demand. Y'all ain't hungry, you bitches thirsty, here's a courtesy can. You niggas obviously not hungry enough. It's tough to see it, so how can you believe a crooked eye certainly can? The fuck a horse shit gang, nigga, this a burglary. We study niggas thoroughly and I promise y'all won't make it this far. Let me purge, you pussy niggas should've just stayed in the car. I'm breaking law, charged.
Hey, turn back.
Taking apart. I'm applaud you fuck boys and stepped out in your lead. Y'all ain't making the move, so it's awkward. Y'all wanna battle with speed. Now what the game need? Not another off-brand shady group. $500,000, y'all label got you
All right, hit one of those things. Hit one of those bouncy things over there. Yeah, hit that.
But ain't nobody take the bet. We crowded around the mic, playing games with your life. All four of y'all sound
Yeah, hit it.
like dynamite. nigga, that's a high explosion. We getting booked for the same shows that y'all was trying to open, homie, knowing that I'm flowing. Stop it with the foolishness. Middle finger up, I'm screaming, fuck your group of duplicates. I'm on my King Kunta shit. Ready for the battle. Shady nigga better skedaddle. You in someone else's shadow. Guarantee this make them fragile. Cause I'm an active activist. Y'all got a platform and no fan base. No hate, but how motherfucking sad is this? How's this happening? Aren't you niggas concerned? Y'all sound like every fucking fast rapper that I ever heard. But I ain't mad at all. I checked out y'all catalog. Haters of the trap music, but signed to deal with a traffic fall. I'm just a nigga that tatted over his back.
I'm playing the radio right now.
So y'all don't got no room to call nobody soft. You not the coldest. You type of shit. My type is claustrophobic. You don't know it. To the side effects show you can't control it. Now it's in the open. All this for promotion. Y'all elevator going down and everybody knows it. According to the lie detect, who gon' sign a check? Y'all better hit the streets. Ask a label and they look at y'all niggas in disbelief. Y'all better stick to kissing feet before I crack your grill. I hate a bitch nigga that'll settle for a happy meal. How you bitch attracted to the daddy skills? Has it on, but I crash into him with the caddy still. Fuck these niggas. We already won on to the next round. Y'all stagnant, already paralyzed from the neck down. Trying to battle us with the textile. Why try, nigga? Body by the high, nigga. Didn't know I was battling to do or die, niggas. Fuck horse shit gang in 21-5, nigga. Yeah, y'all buried alive already. Fuck y'all. Sleep in your casket tonight, nigga. Don't step out of your lead no more, nigga. Get some fans before you try to get in a rap battle, fuck boy. FB 21-5, nigga. But if the shoe fits, wear it. I become a freak of nature, all the kids stare. I walk around bumping raw with the shit blaring, saying fuck school and dropping out like a miscarriage. I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed I played a part in this devilish game, making your common sense perish. But I ain't taking the full blame, cause most of you chucks running around here ain't never had strict parents. All of your brain cells rotten from weed. You feeling like if you ain't got it, life's not as complete. You having sex with every motherfucking body you see, with a past so dark that Satan will jump out of the seat. But still you out in these streets thinking you hot as can be, without the knowledge to lead, so you just follow the sheep, making sure your name's swag is all polished and clean. While your favorite rappers like, yeah, you gotta be me. You been brainwashed by a fake life that you used to live in. When I say the word fun, what do you envision? Probably drinking and smoking out what you doing, chilling with clueless women, you trying to bang, bumping no. Is that all you think life really is? Well, if so, then you're a fucking idiot. I honestly feel like grabbing your head and hitting it. Matter of fact, you don't even deserve a brain. Give me it! Do you even have any goals aside from bagging these hoes and packing the bone? Well, let me guess, no. You're only in school because your parents make you go, and all you do is play beer pong and hang out with the bros. Yo, society's got you living for a whack cause you're a fucking adult with no skills at all. You don't read any books or play ball. You don't draw. You literally do nothing at all. Still you paying for the glamorous fruits you don't have cause you idolize rappers that do. And all they say is I got money in the stack to the roof. And now you think that it's gonna magically just happen to you? How? Your lazy ass don't commit to labor. You pick something up, try it out, and put it down 2 minutes later. Then you complain about your life cause it ain't getting catered. Now whoever tries to call you on your bullshit's a hater. You wanna succeed, you have to try. Or one day you'll get older and regret it all cause you can't provide. Your friends are lowlifes, don't act surprised. Look, just cut the bad fruit off of the tree. Make the sacrifice. Girl,
Fizz, I'm gonna leave you. Everyone that doesn't come with me, I'm going to leave them.
You always talk about how every man's faking. You can't take it and you want something real. Shut up.
Young, I'll give you 2 seconds, or 3 seconds.
To the club half naked with your ass shaking. Pulling the low life nigga who claim he cash make it till you let him hit. Find out he work at the gas station. One of them niggas got you pregnant. And you
Young, I'll give you 5 seconds to get on. 5, 4. Okay. Okay, see you, Young.
When guys put on a new persona after they get loaded with a few coronas, they always shouting and wild out when habits that very you don't know. Then they look for beautiful brainless bitches like you to phone them. Then when they leave you, you cry and cry, talking about, oh my god, I can't find a guy. I've spent so many years and I've tried and tried.
You gotta want it.
Even on earth,
you gotta want it.
You want Romeo, you're not worthy. You're cock-thirsty, you're nasty and probably got herpes.
You gotta want it.
Secret to find is to stop searching. Try a new formula cause your last one's not working.
Ah, there we go, brother.
It's publicly used, and I need to know what it means, cause I'm fucking confused. Are you one for always busting your tooth with nothing to lose or something to prove? The homies up in your crew? Is it because you selling drugs to get loot and brag about how you done been shot and stabbed like it's fun to be you? But your life's a struggle, right? And you just hustling through. Nah, you hamster ass nigga, you just stuck in the loop. Man, why do black people gotta be the only ones who can't evolve? Cause you in the streets acting like a Neanderthals. Clear you can't stand the law, you lost us in the band and dog, and all you interested in is fighting, rapping, and basketball. I can't even fuck with you, cause if we out in public, you gon' get caught stealing some shit and get my ass in trouble too. You get old and be nothing. Living life in these streets, thugging and starting shit with anybody, name nothing. Look at you, a real nigga, thinking your life's cool. Girls used to turn me down for guys who were like you, till you grab their heart and shove a spearhead right through. Then they regret it because it wasn't the right move. Your real nigga talk sin both. A real nigga don't brag about being real as long as he knows it. And his future doesn't seem hopeless. A real nigga stays out of jail, handle shit and he keeps focused. To all you rappers who sold us out in the wrong, you inspired the issue I wrote about in the song. You go to pile on the young who roam around in the slums. See, this is what happens when rap's overcrowded with bums. Hope the hour's long when I'm rolling out with your tongue. The man above is my guide, you know the power is strong. All you minutes and freaks are only in it for cheese, and the mass control limit was breached. Fuck hip-hop. They only in it for cheese, and any eyewitness can see they purposely making the innocent weak. My existence on this planet's for you. I ain't only here to benefit me. Yeah, we need to make a change while there's still time. It is hard, and sometimes I struggle trying to reveal mine. I can guide you if you feel blind. I just need you to be willing to journey into my ill mind.
Bro, what are you doing? Help. Help me. Help me, Fizz. Fizz, buddy. I almost died.
Dusty Douglas presiding.
Take care of him. Just, Fizz, go out. Take care of him. You can do it.
Alright, everybody sit down. This is really getting on my nerves. You guys are taking up too much of my time.
They're gonna die anyway. They're in the storm.
Thompson, please come to the stand.
Nigga, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Homie, I made you with Pedro, Ricky, and Ryan.
Fighting that hand that was feeding you, this shit don't make any sense. Nigga, what the fuck? What the fuck? You know this is that real shit.
How you gonna fool who build this? I'm the one who made the company all the millions. Now you got problems to deal with, man. This is fucked up. See, a couple weeks ago we was buds and I grew still, and it was us till you turn to me, homie. That's fucked up. I ain't keeping this shit on the hush hush. I'm just carry too much stuff. Plus I need something to get my buzz up. I ain't check for the wrong dude. Ain't no telling what Hobson is gone do. Creeping up on you. You just thinking I told you. This is a motherfucking journey we finna go through. If I ain't having to lose, I swear to God I'd probably beat up and choke you. Damn.
Nigga, this is that raw shit. That organic though, you probably see up in Whole Foods. Chevrolet Timbers, something fishy about you, Mr. Ritter. When I told you that I wanted new management, why the fuck you throw a fancy bitter? Why you catching attitude whenever I question you bad on my fucking percentages? I know why. You been bending it and
you benefit. You're around innocent. This nigga crazy. My people, you taking all of my secrets.
See, he has a gambling issue. We taste the cash and blows and all like casinos. Damn. When I bring up my royalties, you start avoiding me. That's some disloyalty. You woke up to evil boy in me. Your ass is poisoning. Tell me why you would destroy me. This was a fucking vision that I had created with your brother, but you too infatuated with the money. You killed it and went it straight into the gut. Now I think why I make you need a boss.
You've been pissing a whole lot of people off.
Our label came out with a weak result. You on that same bullshit the nigga brought.
You think I can see the walls on
Wow, 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 wow. I'll at the door, hit you right in the face, and when the check comes, I'll make you pay. Don't have a car,
I guess you're picking me up and in the backseat.
What? I love you too, baby. BB. You got any guns at all? Boy! You owe me $20. I'm just playing though. Go get me 130. Go get 130. Go do it. Now. Get 130. You don't get more. That is the job. That is your job. So give me guns. Three more 130s and you get another Founders Vendetta. That way you will be the highest ranking person. Right now you are tied for second in command. Okay. How about you shut up, okay? Wait, is this in game chat? Holy shit. Okay. Well, I'm in game chat, guys. I'll be right back. But now I'm just a piece of shit idiot who's too stupid to care. Treating her like she is the best. You're nothing to her. She'd rather have you playing games, piss her off, and make her wait. If you wanted to work, go to a gentleman. This ain't a human idiot. Go to a gentleman. They want to loser like me. Hey Nike, can you please be a little bit quiet? I'm like trying to sing. Like you're being really noisy. Like please stop. You're being too noisy for me to sing. Please stop. Okay. Nike, please stop. Your mom gay. Your granny a tranny.
Your grandpa tramp. Your family's LGBT. Exactly. Exactly.
I almost killed the galaxy saying get out of that triple teamed, okay? Thank you. I'll turn on some better music. I'm about to sing this. You ready? Hear my beautiful voice?
Yes,
alright. I opened my eyes last night and saw you in the low light, walking down by the bay on the shore, staring up at the stars that aren't there anymore. I was feeling the night go old. And you are looking so cold. Like an introvert, I do my overshirt around my arm and begin to shiver violently before you happen to look and see the tunnels all around me. I don't know the rest. Underground. All the subways around create a grave sound in my emotion fatigue. Farewell For you veer to a seashell, you can hear the waves in underwater caves, as if you actually were inside a saltwater room. Time together is just never quite enough. With you and I are alone, I never felt so at home. But will it take to make or break? This is of love all the time. All the time. You leave that the crew sign gone and wouldn't let me sign on. Islands have sunk in the deep, so I can hardly relax or even oversleep. I cannot friends and mine. And then to the shoreline, I'm trying to win this game. When sparrows love the snow, we'll turn off all of the lights except the smile or glow. I'm trying to get this. I'm sorry, I'm focusing. Oh, I've never felt so at home. Sorry, I got distracted. Time together, it just never quite enough. Tough love, so tell me, darling, do you wish me falling love all the time? You like my singing, brother?
I loved it. Do it again.
Oh my god, that's gonna hurt my throat so fucking bad. This hurts. This like turns my throat like really bad. You know what? I'm gonna rap. I'm going to rap. All right.
Yes.
All right. This is the only song I know how to rap. It's Rap God. I'm gonna scream Rap God.
Yes.
Just kidding. No, it's Illmind of Hops in 5. All right, let's do it. I'm going into game chat. Actually, no. Man, I hate rap, but if the shoe fits, wear it. I become a freaking angel, all the kids there who walk around, bump around with the shit player, saying fuck school and drop it out like a miscarriage. Me embarrassed, and I'm ashamed I play a part in this devilish game, making it common sense pairs. But I ain't taking the full blame, cause most of you chumps around here never had strict parents. All of you, I can't scream this, it takes too much breath. You haven't breath. So you out in the streets thinking you hot as can be, something else to lead, just use the follow the sheep, making sure your name swagger's all polished and clean. I'm going to game chat. When I say the word, bro, what do you envision? Probably drinking and smoking out with your crew and chilling with clueless women. You trying to bang, bump a new edition. Is that all you think life really is? Well, if so, then you're a fucking idiot. I honestly feel like grabbing your head an idiot. Matter of fact, you don't even deserve a brain. Give me it. Do you even have any goals except for backing these holes and backing no ball? Let me guess, no. You're only at school because your parents make you go. And all you do is play beer pong and hang out with your bros. Yo, society's got you living for a whack, cause you a fucking adult with no skills at all. You don't read any books or play ball. You don't draw. You literally do nothing at all. But see, you feed for the glamorous fruit you don't have, cause you idolize guys rap and say too. No, they say is I got money in the stack to the roof. Now you think that it's gonna magically just happen to you? How? Your lazy ass don't commit to labor. You pick something up, try it out, put it on 2 minutes later. Then you complain about your life because it didn't cater. Now whoever tries to call you on your bullshit's a hater. You want to succeed, you have to try. One day you get older and ready it all because you can't provide. Your friends are low life, so act surprised. Look, just cut the bad food off the tree, make the sacrifice. Girls, stop acting like you want a guy with traits like Romeo, bitch. That's a fucking lie. You are stuck in the every man's faking. You can't take it. You want something real? Shut up, try and save it. Hand and glove half naked with your ass shaking. Put in a low life nigga who'll put me gas, make it till you let him hit. Find out he work at the gas station. But you pregnant and you can't raise it, but you caused it. Your actions made a fast statement. You roll me in an act patient and stop fronting like you in the club posted in the back waiting. After you get loaded with the fuke around as you are shouting wow loud to heavens of bad brainless like oh my god, I can't find a guy. It's been so many years and I tried and tried. Why am I even on earth? Why should die? Romeo than that. Sometimes the secret to find is to stop searching, try new formula colors. Last was not working. The term real niggas publicly used, and I need to know what it means, cause I'm fucking confused. Are you one for always busting you two? With something to lose, something to prove. He's up in your crew. He's up here. He's healing. But your life's a struggle, right? And you just hustling through. Nah, you hamster ass nigga, you just stuck in the loop. I'm not singing that part cause it's racist. But you can't stand the wall, you want to stand in the band and organ, or you're interested in this fighting, rapping, or basketball. Man, I can't even fuck with you. Cause if you're in the street, you're gonna hit cost killings and shit and get my ass in trouble too. You could only be nothing. Living life in the street and fucking starting shit. Anybody mean mugging, look at you, a real nigga, thinking your life's cool. Girls used to turn me down for guys who were like you. Till you grabbed their heart and shoved a spearhead right through. Then they regret it cause it wasn't the right move. Seems bogus. A real nigga don't brag about being real as long as he knows it.
And his future doesn't say hope. A real nigga stays out of jail, handle shit and he keeps focused. To all you rappers who soul is out in the young, you inspire the issue I wrote about in the song. You go to pile on the young who roam around in the slums. See, this is what I do for rap, so crowded for drums. Hope the hour's long when I'm rolling out with your tongue. The man above is my guide, you know the power's strong. All you minutes and breaks are only in it for kicks. And the mass control limit we reach. Fuck hip hop. They only in it for cheese, and any eyewitness can see they purposely making the innocent weak. My existence on this planet,
Daddy.
I ain't only here to be
Daddy.
Yo, we need to make a change while there's still time.
Daddy, 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 come here. Look at that booty. Look at that tomato booty.
I just need you to be willing to
wait. Let me call me daddy. Let me look inside your mask. Stand still. Let me look inside your mask. I want to see what's inside the tomato. Did you guys enjoy my singing? Now I'm gonna sing Rap God. Just kidding. I don't know Rap God. If I did, I would rap it though. I can rap better than what I just did. It's just that it's kind of hard while you're screaming. But Baby Shark, but I'm screaming the lyrics. This is who I get my inspiration from. Listen to him. This is who I get my inspiration from. Just listen. His name's like Hunter 1S 1K or something like that. That was fun! Are we gonna win this game, guys?
You don't know me!
But my name's Sai. I'm just the order delivery guy! But it seems like trees might be worth a try! So I say, let it grow!
My name is Dan!
And my name's Sones, and my wrestling kind of grows! And that's not good, so we suppose we should let it grow!
Let it grow!
Let it grow! We will use our song!
Plant the seed!
I don't know the song.
Just one way to know its worth! To celebrate the world's rebirth! We say let it grow! My name's Marie, and I am 3!
I would really like to see a tree!
I say let it grow! My granny Norma, and I'm
Oh, then I got gray hair. And I remember when trees were everywhere!
everywhere!
And no one had to pay for it.
So I say, let it grow, let it grow, let it grow, like it did so long ago. It's just one tiny seed, but it's all we really need. It's time to change the life we lead. Time to let it grow. But if
Elite Cookie Dude, wait. Can I get medium ammo, please?
here in Thorneville too.
What the things you say just might be true. It made me start to turn anew. And made me change my point of view.
Nah,
I say let it die. Let it die, let it die. Let it shit whoopin'. Come on, who's with me? No one. You greedy dirtbag! Call me daddy, I'll stop screaming if you give me medium bullets.
Plant the seed inside the earth.
Call me daddy, I need medium bullets.
To know its worth, let's celebrate the world's rebirth. We say let it grow.
What?
Let it grow.
Give me medium bullets and I'll give it to you.
So, it's just one tiny seed, but it's all
I need more.
need. It's time to banish all your
Scammer get scammed.
This be a solemn creed. We say let it go. Let it go. They say let it go. Say let it go.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, and to train them is my cause. Pokemon, I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. To get Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon. Hey, Pokemon! I know it's my destiny, Pokemon!
You're my best friend in a world we must defend! Pokemon! Our courage will pull us through! You need me and I'll take you! Pokemon! Gotta catch 'em all! Every challenge along the way, with courage I
You're trash, brother!
My dream! Pokemon! I know it's my destiny! Pokemon! You're my best friend in a world we must defend! Pokemon! Our courage will pull us through! Get your mom! Gotta get your mom! Yeah!
I live here in Thorneedville too.
My best friend in a world we must defend! Pokemon! Gotta get your mom! Our courage will pull us through! You need me and I'll fix you! Pokemon! Gotta get your mom! Pokemon!
No! All of my subscribers are really liking my screaming. I'm streaming and screaming. This is what I'm gonna call the Scream Stream.
Hey everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse. Say, you wanna come inside my clubhouse?
Well, alright!
I almost forgot. To make the clubhouse appear, what do you get to say?
The magic word!
Muska!
Muska! Mickey Mouse!
Say with me. Muska! Muska! Mickey Mouse!
Stream one! Bro, watch my stream. This is funny as hell.
How many shrimps do you have to eat?
Bro, watch my stream. It's funny as hell.
Too much and you'll get sick. Shrimps are pretty rich. Flamingo はピンク色に染まっていくぜ。One, two, three.
I don't care.
Black, white, green or blue. Show off your natural hue. Flamingo. Oh, 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 oh. If you're multicolored, that's cool too. You don't need to change. It's boring being the same. Flamingo. Oh, 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 oh. You're pretty either way. Flamingo. How many shrimps do you have to eat?
I'm gonna call these Scream Streams, cause I scream while I stream.
Good for you.
Mr. Sunday, Mom, that is more than me!
Too soon.
shoe. Every flower, every grain of sin is wishing God to save my heart. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. Sometimes a little things start closing in on me. When I'm feeling down, I wanna lose that frown. I stick my head out the window and I look around. Those cars don't scare me, they can't disguise. There's a magic that's happening right before my eyes.
I just changed the name of it to Scream Stream 1! I love that part right there. Listen to what he does. Listen to what he does when he goes, wow, 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 wow.
Best day ever gonna last all night. Yeah, the best day ever's gonna last all night. Wow, 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 wow. It's the best day ever.
Wow, 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 wow.
It's the best day ever. It's the best day ever. It's the best day ever.
Scream, Scream 1!
Why are you so loud?
It's a scream! I have to scream everything!
But I went and blew it all sky high. But now she won't even spare a passing glance. All just because I ripped my pants when big.
Out the ledge and into a ravine. Jumping out at the last second, Zilak managed to grab onto the branches of a tree.
But now she won't even spare a passing glance.
Into a ravine. Jumping out at the last second, Zilak managed to grab onto the branches of a tree.
But now she won't even spare a passing glance.
Into a ravine.
I'm watching my own stream!
Zilak managed to grab onto the branches of a tree.
Wait, am I in game chat? I am! I'm watching my own stream! Wait, am I in game chat? I am! Here we go, guys! I'm gonna play Gucci Gang! I'm going fatal! I'm solo!
That's the end! Let's hip hop! Yo! Gucci Gang! 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 I can't find me away, right? Better go ahead, right, Bobby! Gucci Gang! 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 My bitch on you, cocaine! I fuck a bitch, I forget it! Yeah! I can't find me away, right? Better go ahead, right, Bobby! Gucci Gang! Gucci Gang! Gucci Gang! Gucci Gang! What do you want, bother you, man? You do!
should be doing more commentary! It said somebody's watching! Who's watching me?
She said, do you love me? I told her only partly.
Who's watching me?
Mom, I'm sorry. 50 times I even got it done it hurt me. Anyway,
Isn't it like this?
for the party. And you know me. Cause I'll do it to a whole three dog. With the
Hi!
to be going.
Oh! Wanna play some duos?
God bless.
Wanna play some duos?
I can do this on my own. Hey, no, hey. Someone watching this shit close. Jump close. I can beat this guy from. Hey, bro, hey. Michael down at G.O.D. Yeah, wait. I go hard on Sunday G. Yeah, wait. I make sure that door's not eight. It's still. Bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wish it on me. Yeah. Yeah. Bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wish it on me. Yeah.
I like stroking noodles! It's a lot of noodles! Hey! Gonna call my friends! Tell them to watch my stream! Okay, give me a second!
You scream so loud.
Thank you!
Jesus fucking Christ.
You wanna watch my scream stream? Go to my YouTube channel! It's a scream stream! I scream everything! Yeah, you wanna watch?
I can watch it in a sec.
Okay, watch it! Post something! In the chat!
Okay.
Okay, thanks! That was fun!
Ow! You scream way too much.
No, I screamed just enough! fucking really lucky this round! Are you watching? Is that you?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I break it down,
who's watching the stream?
If I break it down, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm ready to gun you down. 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 Yeah, dog. I'm a real dog. 21. Running by the streets, I got out the real dog. 21. Wanna see a party, didn't get you killed, dog. Wait, wanna see a party, didn't get you killed, dog. Real dog, I'm a real dog. You a little dog, real dog. Wanna be a dog, sit the bell, dog. You white in your bitch like O'Neal, dog. I feel like you like Reggie Rip. Jumping sticky like an eel, dog. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I break it down, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm ready to gun you down, 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 ready to gun you down. Hood clap, send her in her head full of fucking bitch. She says that I got her rolling this, spray and block them. We not really with that little shit, but goddamn, I don't really get the fact of it. Yeah, you bitch, jiggy with me, keep that jiggy with me. Bitch, I'm mad man, you know I got jiggy with me. Keep a mad man, in case they wanna get busy with me. Very mad black, and I got a friendly with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I break it down, 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 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm turning this down!
Who's
Who's watching the stream?
Ready to gun you down, ready to gun you down. way you dumping your ashes! I don't suck your eye, you come for no ashes! The streets bring me, I'm a whole bastard! You ready for the shit? Come on, man, the boy ready then! Okay! Alright, boom! Big shot! Hold the handing! Scoot random! Usta! Hold back the gun as well! Pow! 2 plus 2 is 4! Minus 1 times 3 quick math! Everyday man to the block! Smoke trees! See a girl in the box! That girl's a cut! With a big quick one! You ran with the king! Hold the handing! He got a puppy! Hold the man! He's got a frisbee! I got just up on the moon! Doing that cornflakes! Where's frisbee? Hold the go with it! On the road doing that down! Look at down! You ain't got the moon! I see the big on the moon! It's not like those! Look at you now! What? You did it! Look at you now! You look like going house! Sprinkler sound! You get me! Boom! Let's go up again!
You're trash, kid!
Let's go! I'm on the 4-door with the 4-boil, 1, 2, 3, and 5! Turn the corridor! You're dead and 45! And you still got that for job! Let him go! Where's the him? I'm gonna finish him! Big man was my boss! Same man shot my boss! You don't know I got the sauce! No ketchup! Just us! What's up? Boom! Yeah! Go! The big goes clear! Papa Takata! Skibidi Papa! And boom 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 boom! Skia! Boom 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 boom! Boom boom! You got the big shot! Yo! Yeah yeah! Alright! Fire in the boots! You get the best out of heart! Another best out of heart! Another best out of heart! You don't know me, take off your jacket! The best out of heart! Yo! Bring it to me hard! Perspiration thing! Late effect! Thank you! Hey! I've been fucking holding from my belly, man, until it's like a rock star! Hey! All my brothers got the gas, they always is smoking like a rock star! Fuck you with me, call them for you, they can show up there to shut down! When my homies pull up for your blood, they make that thing go down! When my work gets back, your blood, I'm starting to rest in peace, the fuck God! Gonna know we blow smoke, yes, we light a fire like a porcine! At the full of stage, probably leave my fucking show in a dump gun! Shit was legendary, do a TV at the window or a bus sign! Don't get on the table, it's a pork, don't give a damn! Don't you get me in the club, it's a turn! Sitting under the bed! Nothing I can out of fucking iron, come up from my back!
That's trash!
And then I'm gonna burn! Yeah! I've been fucking holding from my belly, man, until it's like a rock star! All my brothers got the gas, they always is smoking like a rock star! Fuck you with me, call them for you, they can show up there this...
Hey, bro! Oh my gosh! My basket! Hey, bro! Play solos with me! Play solos with me! Happy Bros! Guys! There's guns in it for ya! We can win! We can win! I'm gonna give you 130s! But you gotta join now! Right now! Are you gonna join? Are you gonna join?
exact same time. I have taken the little glass where I touch one of my fucking spell. I am like a motherfucking devil with a fucking couple of facts. It's like get it out. It was like rolling down the side down the back and I'm the back. I'll get it up for one. Those are big folks. You know what I'm talking about? I have an old time period. There's a messy
Madras! Whatever!
Constructed as a massively high. I'm beginning to feel like the left.
Madras! I'm doing a scream stream! Wanna play duos with me? Sorry, I'm screaming! I have to! Cause it's a scream stream! Yes, I am! I'm not yelling at you, I'm just yelling in general! Just do you want to play duos or no? Yeah! Okay! Gonna turn this up, guys! We can win that! We can win it with this! Just turn your mic down! Touch me! You're not the only one being hurt! This hurts my soul really bad! Yeah, turn it down! Are you done with your match? Okay! Can you join me? Cause I can't join you! I won't stop yelling, but I'll turn the music off! There we go!
Okay, thank you.
I'm sending you an invite!
I'm leaving chicks. Accepted it.
Are you in the game? Okay, send me an invite!
I'm looking.
Just look for W!
I can't see your name.
I'm gonna restart my Fortnite!
Oh, you're logging on?
No, I'm gonna restart it! Oh, okay. Invite me. Did you invite me?
I just did 2 times.
Okay, I'm gonna restart my Fortnite. You should restart yours too.